Remember this thing? Well, it doesn't work. And do you know why? Well, there's been an update to the Google AIY code. So stupidly, I should have left it as it was, but I decided I'd use the new image. And so I loaded the new image on. I actually followed my own instructions for setting it up on the Raspberry Pi from my website, and they worked just fine. Everything worked, except it will not now run at boot. There's a problem. And I can't figure out what it is. I think one of the issues is when it communicates to Google servers, it doesn't work first time. So I can log in via SSH and restart that service. Well, we'll go into that in a second. And then it starts working, but it won't work on first boot. And I'm not sure whether the actual unit you get, it requires or expects the GUI environment to be loaded. And I load these up in sort of command line, auto logged in as Pi. And that used to work fine, but I think that might have changed. So I'm not going to redo my approach because I like the way it works. But I am going to figure out a little workaround, and we're going to work through it now. Oh, there'll be a little camera change now because I need to get to the desk, and that's here. So this is the post that I am looking at to remember how I did this before. And I've still got all the same parts. Not much has changed. But if I scroll down a little bit, and I need to find the bit where you can download the thing. Download and burn the image. So this goes to the latest AIY projects thing. Oh, and I'm downloading it now, but it is the 16th of November 2018. Now, why is that important? Well, I did this in June, or even before that, actually, probably, of 2018. And so the version I had was not this version. Anyhow, I'm going to log into my Pi now. I've made the text really big, so hopefully people will appreciate that. And yes, I haven't changed the password. It is the default one. God, is there any identifying stuff here? Probably not. Oh, actually, I need that window again. So what I'm planning to do, I should probably turn the other camera on. Hang on. What I'm planning to do is to add another switch onto this board here. So currently we use two switches on there, one of which is the sort of signal to talk to the Raspberry Pi. It's not running at the moment. This should be flashing if it's being accessed as a microphone. It is not. But if I press this button here, nothing happens. It really should. So if I scroll down in this page, we'll get to a bit where I set it up through systemd. Where is that? Going past all the audio stuff, which I've already set up. Here we are. Not systemd, it's systemd. So that's the system daemon, and it will run as a service. So this example that we used will run as a service, and it's actually still called Pi Assistant Service on mine. And so it's all set up the same and it works, but you have to restart that service every time. I've gone through all sorts of iterations of how to start this and run it, but it will not start. So we're going to have to mess with the system controller to start it up again. And what I plan to do is to edit the thing that I've got in the RC local file. Now, currently in the RC local file, I'm running the shutdown.py script, and that's running all the time. And that shuts down the Raspberry Pi like this. Do I want to do this? Yeah, why not? So when I press that, it will shut down my Raspberry Pi. You can see that our server unexpectedly close connection, and it will let me restart the Pi as well. Once it's fully shut down, some lights will blink on there. Flash, 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 and then it'll go off. And then that's the Raspberry Pi shut down. And I can press that button again to restart it. Now I'm going to use that same script to have a button on here that restarts my script. Now, this is much nicer than having to log into the blooming putty thing every single time. So let's restart this session. It'll allow us to log back in again, hopefully. This is connecting over Wi-Fi, so it may be a little slow. connection refused. Okay, we'll give it a second, see if it's, it might not be connected yet. Restart session, there we go. So Pi Raspberry. Really should change that. So now we need to edit that, what is it? Pi, it's shutdown underscore dot pi. So sudo nano shut underscore pi dot py. So you can press tab when you know you're quite close to the name of the file. So let's do that. And in here, you can see that we're already importing our GPIO. Just here, we're importing that time and OS. And that's important because we want to interact with the OS. So we're already setting our GPIOs to be the BCM. I think that's just the naming conventions. But we need to do this again. So let's copy this. We're going to use another pin on here. Let's actually get it wired up first. So I think I'll bring the microphone up. I'm going to use the next pin along from this yellow one here. The next one along from that. So that's GPIO 23. Let's double check. So here's our pin out. So if we read along the top, we've got 5 volts ground, 14, 15, 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 18. We're using that one for the torque pin. And then we're going to go for GPI 23. So space 1 from that, and then GPI 23. So let's throw another pin button into this breadboard. Sorry if I'm off mic at the moment. So there's another switch in the breadboard. I'll put one of the pins of the switch straight into that thing, and then I'm going to need another jumper to put to another available ground, which is blue over there. Okay, so that is our switch wired up. And all we need to do now is start copying and pasting some stuff in here. So someone recently told me when you select things inside the terminal window, it copies it for you. Let's minimize this background because it's a bit much, isn't it? It copies it for you. So we can just move our cursor down using the arrow keys and right click, and it pastes it in, which is great. So ours is pin 23, so just add a 2. Next up is a little bit more difficult. We need to define a function. You can see here, define shutdown channel. I'm not sure what channel is being used for here, so I'll just replicate it because it's easier than sort of trying to remember. So we're going to say define, oops, I'm not typing in that window, am I? Define restart service pi, and we'll say channel, and then colon, enter. Now I'm going to go down here because I don't think that's a tab. No, it's not a tab. 4 spaces. We'll just make sure it's exactly the same. So we're going to say os.system, open brackets, sudo systemctl, and then we're going to say restart, oops, put a space in there, shall we? Restart pi dash assistant, sorry, it's really hard to say this out loud and type dot service, plus I can't see the keyboard. Let's end the quote and end the bracket, and that's our function done. We might want to just add something here, a little comment. On pin 23. Okay, now that's not all. We actually have, so that's our function, and we've set the pin 23 to be a pull-up on our button, but we also need this here. So this is GPIO add event, and it's got a bounce time as well, which is brilliant. So let's go down here right click, we're going to paste that in, and then we just need to change that to 23 and change the callback as well. So 23, and why did I make the callback so big? Well, luckily we can just select it, and now that's copied. So let's just delete all of that, and then right click, paste it in. I think that is us done, isn't it? I think that's everything we need. So to write that out, it's Control 0 or O. Not what? No. O. Write that out. Control O, enter, exit, and then sudo reboot. Now our server has unexpectedly closed connection. That's okay. We're going to see this reboot now, and then once it has done, we'll be able to, let's turn this on. This is our speaker. Don't know how loud it is. Quite loud. Okay, it looks like we've probably rebooted enough. So let's restart the session. There we go. Pi, Raspberry. You really should change that, David. And well, we didn't even need to restart the session. We don't need to be in there. All we need to do is just press this button. And hopefully we'll see some activity on the light over here. And then we'll see this start flashing. If I've done this correctly. Okay, it looks like we have. Now, I haven't, so in my rotary phone, I'm going to be disconnecting the microphone. That microphone is connected to the speaker for some reason. Let's try calling it. Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 7:54.
I don't know whether you heard that, but she is listening. Okay, Google, what is the biggest planet in our solar system?
Solar system planets by surface area: Uranus, Neptune.
Okay, thank you. So it still works. Everything about it works. In fact, the timer still works. Okay, Google, set a timer for 10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds.
And she responds. We're going to get a little LED light up here, and then I'll need to press the button down here on GPIO 18 to dismiss that, I believe. Now, I think I'm getting fairly close now. This works. Let's get rid of that. Cancel. Has she listened? Okay, Google, cancel. Okay, no, it did work. It just takes a while. It has to go through one of those things. Never mind. Anyway, it's getting pretty close to being finished. I'm really happy that finally it works. And I like having a button to restart the service. I wonder what happens if I press it when it's going. Okay, so restart will stop the service and then start it again, hopefully. Yeah, excellent. So it's still working. All right, well, I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully someone will find that useful. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just a complete Linux noob and someone else will say, that's not how you should fix your crappy code in System D. Never mind. System Daemon, System D, whatever it's called. All right, I'll speak to you all soon.